Witnessing tennis history, and the longest French Open final of all time, was both a privilege and the ultimate test of bladder endurance. 5 hours and 29 minutes of unrelenting, mind-bending athleticism. 5 hours and 29 minutes of Carlos Alcaraz and Jannik Sinner trading blows not just as competitors but as the future of the sport. It wasn't just a match, it was an epic. An odyssey. An emotional, physical, mental rollercoaster that pushed the boundaries of tennis and of the players themselves. It's rare that a match feels timeless while it's unfolding. But from the opening point on court Philippe Chatrier, it was clear, we were watching something extraordinary. Not just a battle for a title, but the crystallization of a rivalry that could define the next decade. This wasn't a passing of the torch moment. This was two torches, lit ablaze, colliding in the middle of a Parisian Colosseum, casting sparks into the future of tennis. Alcaraz, just 22, with a grin that belies his gladiatorial spirit, and Sinner, the icy redhead with fire in his veins, both born in the 2000s, both carrying the weight of expectation and delivering tenfold. Every shot was played at the edge of physical capacity. Every rally threatened to redraw the lines of what's possible with a racket in hand. You couldn't look away. Not because you didn't want to, but because your body physically wouldn't let you. To blink was to miss a slice of history. To breathe was to interrupt the rhythm of brilliance. The match wasn't a tennis match. It was 5 acts of Shakespeare, played out in blood and sweat on crushed brick. Alcaraz was down and out. Sinner was on the brink. Match points came and went, like gusts of wind in the Paris evening. 3 of them, 3 chances to shut the door. And Alcaraz clawed them all back. Not with desperation, but with belief. With beauty. With shots that laughed in the face of probability. That defied the geometry of the court. And just when it felt like he'd pulled off the impossible, Sinner found life again. Climbed off the canvas. Threw a punch of his own. Forced a 5th set tiebreak when it felt like his body and spirit were finished. He wasn't done. They weren't done. Nobody watching was done. The sun could have set and risen again and still no one would have moved. I had a Google Doc. Nearly 4,000 words. Game-by-game notes. Carefully crafted intros for both possible outcomes. A narrative forming, structured, thought out. It all unraveled by the time Alcaraz turned defeat into defiance and Sinner turned exhaustion into excellence. All those words, rendered obsolete by the chaos of brilliance. Sitting inside court Philippe Chatrier, you could feel the match in your bones. It wasn't just the pace. It was the emotion, the fearlessness, the understanding, between these two men, that they were not just playing to win, but playing to create. Alcaraz, that irrepressible force, raised his level until it felt almost unfair. The harder things got, the better he played. Who does that? What kind of player grows stronger with pressure pressing down like a vice? It's a gift. A curse for his opponents, but a gift for the game. He did it against Djokovic at Wimbledon in 2023. He did it again here. It doesn't matter who stands across from him. When the moment gets big, Alcaraz grows bigger. And with the crowd behind him, the effect is seismic. His tennis transcends strategy. It's not just about shot making. It's about shot creating. He doesn't find solutions, he invents them. And yet, to only praise Alcaraz is to do Sinner a disservice. Sinner matched him shot for shot, will for will. He absorbed everything, and kept giving more. His serve, his ground strokes, his belief, they refused to buckle. He didn't play second fiddle. He was part of the duet, and what a symphony they created. You don't forget moments like these. Not because of the scoreline, or the records, though this was the longest final in Roland Garros history. Not because it was the first Grand Slam final between two men born in the 2000s. You remember it because it made you feel. Because it reminded you what sport can be at its apex, not a contest, but a canvas. It felt like destiny, not just for Alcaraz, who now shares a stat with Rafael Nadal. But for tennis, for fans old and new. For those who watched Borg and McEnroe in 1980, and for those who came alive in 2008 when Nadal beat Federer in a Wimbledon twilight. And now, for those who will point to 2025 and say, that was the one. The French Open final between Carlos Alcaraz and Jannik Sinner was not a coronation, it was a prophecy. That tennis will be okay. That the game is not fading in the shadows of its legends, but bursting into the light of its heirs. This match will be replayed in minds and videos and whispers and debates. Was it better than Nadal Federer? Was it more dramatic than Djokovic Wawrinka? Who cares? What matters is that it happened. That we saw it. That they gave everything. That history, for once, didn't just repeat, it evolved. And we were lucky enough to witness it.